Hi friends, welcome to this week's Roll20 World Art Bundle review. This time we're covering The Ministry by Jess Nevins, illustrated by Pedro Potier. This is a standard Fate World and Adventure bundle. It includes both the campaign module and the art pack. We'll dive into both in just a second, and our standard allotment of all of those. Let's look at Pedro's art here. We've got 66 tokens with this fun backdrop that Fred has made. We've got all the characters, alien influences, flags, symbols, and everything you need for the Ministry or your 1950s spy agency alien invasion game. Let's take a look at the module itself. Welcome to the Ministry. The enemy is everywhere. In 1958, a variety of aliens have discovered the Earth. These aren't the comical little green men of cheap science fiction stories. These aliens are diseases, mind controllers, and shapeshifters. Various outbreaks have killed tens of thousands of people around the world, and aliens have tried to possess Joseph Stalin, Narwhal Nehru, and reportedly Mao Zedong. You are field agents of the Ministry of Rocktree, assigned to London to defend your people against the alien threat. Face off against implacable alien threats in the Ministry, a Fate World of Adventures by Jess Nevins. Let's take a look at everything we have in this package. On the start page, we have our standard quick start for players, GMs, and resources for everyone. We've got 6 pre-generated characters ready for you to play. The tokens are here, and if you scroll down over on the right, we have the player character. Wow, lots and lots of journal entries in here. We've got the player characters here. Let's take a look at the other pages. There's lots going on here. The second page is rules and tokens. As you can see, we've got lots of tokens available for you. They're also in the art pack for you to grab, and this cool background of classified, top secret background. And finally, the Fate bookmark with the Fate ladder and the various rules, everything you need there. The next pages, we're doing something a little different. This is a basic sort of planning, plotting, scheming, murder wall backdrop. But as we get into the rest of them, Buckingham Palace, you'll see that there are several things going on here that are on the GM layer. So I'm going to ramp up the GM opacity so that it's 100%, so everything looks like it's fully visible. And you can see we've got scene 1, scene 7, scene 8, scene 9, all taking place in Buckingham Palace. The map itself has a legend over here, and all of these characters, which are on the GM level, are going to be hidden from the players until you reveal them. So from a GM's perspective, this is what it looks like. From a player's perspective, I'll turn it all the way down, it's just the map. And what you're going to do to reveal these things is go on to the GM layer, where you're going to have to bump up the opacity a little bit so you can see what you're doing. And then as characters are relevant, as you want to, for instance, reveal in scene 1 the royal guests, you're going to go to layer and choose token layer, and pop, it's going to come right to the front, 100% opacity, because it's now on the token layer, and now it's visible to players. So I'll set that opacity all the way down, and again, now in scene 1, the players will all see the royal guests, and you'll do that for all the tokens as they become visible. This is a theme throughout this entire Fate World adventure. We've got everything really mapped out in all the various scenes throughout the game. And if you continue to keep the GM opacity kind of in a middling space, you as the GM will be able to tell what's revealed and what isn't. The fully visible items will be the player-facing items will be fully visible, and the sort of faded out images will be GM only. And you can leave the scene 1, scene 7, scene 9, etc. You can leave those in the GM layer so players don't see that you're sort of having you sort of know which ones to pull up as they progress through the scenes. The rest of the pages work similarly. So we've got scene 2 and scene 6 here. Notice in scene 2, these characters are already visible. They're already on the token layer. If I go to the objects and tokens layer, they're already there on the token layer because they're there as soon as you take them to the scene. But there's a few others here, and also in scene 6, that you'll make visible as is applicable. We have the London map, same thing here. We've got a few characters, civilians on the street, fleeing bystanders, the police, a map from the British Museum, all the way down here to Rochester Row, and some other characters that are still in the GM layer, hidden, that you can reveal as you as they come into the scene. And we have the British Museum. Similarly, the characters are already revealed here, but we know this is scenes 3 and 4. And finally, we have the Royal Yacht Britannia deck plans. And again, this is for scene 5. We know some of the characters that are there, but there's some hidden ones. So there's a lot going on in this Fate World Adventure. You have a lot of resources. They're all set up that are ready for you to sort of reveal. Speaking of resources, look at this list of journal entries. Wow. We have our standard README, which has the basics of how the Fate world works. Nothing too fancy there. We've got our contents, which is a hyperlinked table of contents for the entire adventure, Fate World Adventure. Everything is linked in here, and there is a ton that Jess has included in this. There's new mechanics of infection and possession, dissonance, cities and city zones. There's all of the alien types. There's just so much in this Fate world, and as you can see, all of that is here. Now, a few of these items up at the top had this blue dot on them, which means they're visible to players, but most of them are GM only. You know, spore-infected characters is a GM only characters and handouts. You'll see that there's just a lot of things in here. You can always reveal those to the players. You can always pull up, the character K, and you have the full character sheet here, everything you need to know about K. But if you want to make them visible to players, you go into Edit, and you can say in players journals, and you can make it all players, and then everyone can see K. And if you want people to be able to edit K, you can say all players can edit and control as well. Now we'll notice K has a little blue dot next to him, and he'll be visible to everybody. If you want him to pop up on a player screen, you click show to players, and that will actually make this handout or character sheet in this case pop up in front of them. So there is a lot here. I highly recommend going through all of these handouts, all these character sheets in advance, because there's so much here. It's all at your disposal to use as you're playing. The other bits are pretty standard fare. If you go into our macros, our collections tab, we've got the Fate deck playing card right here. Boop boop. You know, as expected, and we have the roll by token. If you put that in your bar, you can click on a token, for instance, the Gurkhas, and say Fate roll by token, pick a modifier, and say the reason detection. Maybe see if they notice you, and we see that they rolled a 3 there. So the macros are there, the character sheets. Let's look at the character sheets real quick. Let's look at all our player characters. Let's look at Changbao. We have our agent here with her background, and then in her character sheet we have all of the things you would expect in a Fate character sheet, the aspects, the stress. Whoops, let's expand this a little bit. There we go. And the stunts. And I just think it's worth highlighting how both the skills can be rolled. So if you want Chang to roll investigate, you can go ahead and roll that. Boom, and we see that result. But also the stunts work the same way. So fear is a cruel plate padlock, +2 defend with will against intimidation and tactics. So normally Chang's will is 3, but if she's defending against intimidation tactics, you can roll this, and it will roll at her with the stun. And same thing, a small knife like a lady's hairpin has many uses. +2 to fight when using your dagger. There she goes. And we've got the notes. We've got everything we need to play this character, and all of the characters are like that. So I hope you are able to join the Ministry and help fend off the alien threat and protect humanity. Take care, all.